Prophetic emergency. A betrayal will happen today, but Archangel Michael will reverse it if you act. Right now, beneath the surface of your ordinary moments, something uncommon is unfolding. The air feels normal, but the energy is shifting. A decision is being made in silence. A conversation is taking place where your name is being mentioned, not in celebration, not in admiration, but in calculated judgment. Someone who once smiled in your direction is wrestling with a decision that will betray your trust. They feel justified. They feel unseen. They believe they've figured out a version of you that no longer exists. And because of that, they are ready to act on a perception that was never aligned with your truth to begin with. But before they make the move, before the word is spoken, before the damage is done, something greater stands in the gap. Archangel Michael. He sees the betrayal before it happens. He reads the energy before the text is sent. He sees the forked tongue before it begins to hiss. This is not just a betrayal. This is a spiritual ambush. And yet, it is not allowed to unfold without divine warning. This very message is your sign that heaven is watching and responding. This very moment is a call to act, not out of fear, not out of panic, but out of awareness and authority. For when you are aware, you can no longer be ambushed. When you are informed, you reclaim your dominion. And when Archangel Michael speaks, the entire battlefield shifts in your favor. There is a window of reversal open now, but it is temporary. The betrayal is scheduled. Your reversal is available, but you must choose. Will you respond in spirit? Will you align in truth? Will you act before the lie is planted and the wound is born? Because the energy moving today will either break something you care about or bless something you've prayed for. And the difference lies in your immediate spiritual response. They want to think you're unaware. They want to assume you're still operating in old patterns. But they are wrong. You are not weak. You are not naive. You are not unprotected. And this message is proof that your spirit is covered in heavenly intelligence. Archangel Michael is not passive about betrayal. He does not negotiate with deception. He stands armed at the gates of your atmosphere, issuing commands to preserve your truth and expose the liar. This is more than protection. This is divine war. And heaven always fights for the chosen. But heaven also requires your participation, your prayer, your declaration, your alignment. Not tomorrow. Not tonight. Now. Because something is scheduled to strike before sundown, and it can be reversed if you choose your posture wisely. There is no coincidence that you are hearing this now. The sound of these words reaching you is not just a broadcast. It is a divine intersection. Archangel Michael says, be alert, because betrayal is knocking at your gate. Someone is preparing to step out of alignment with the role they were meant to play in your life. The shift is subtle, but it's strong, and it's happening today. Within the next 24 hours, you will feel the residue of it in your spirit. You will sense a tone, hear a phrase, catch a glance, or receive a message that confirms what you already suspected. And this is not a warning to stir fear. It is a sacred instruction meant to protect what's holy around you. You are not being paranoid. You are being prepared. Archangel Michael does not send confusion. He sends clarity. And right now, that clarity is urgent. What looks like a friend is behaving like a foe. What feels like silence is actually a strategy. There is a plan to speak on your behalf without your presence. There is a spirit of distortion attempting to bend your truth before it ever reaches the right ears. Someone is confusing your humility for guilt. Someone is mistaking your grace as vulnerability. But Michael says, no more. The angelic swords have been drawn. The divine realm has detected interference. And you, yes you, are being called to rise, to stay still, to stay sharp. This is not just about avoiding betrayal. This is about reversing it. And reversal requires divine awareness. You've been warned. But more than that, you've been covered. Type I am covered in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2211 is now active. There is a strange silence in your atmosphere, not peaceful, but calculated. A silence that no longer feels safe. A silence filled with glances that linger too long. A silence where your name is being spoken in places your spirit has not been invited. And yet you feel it. You've been feeling it. There's been a low vibration of suspicion that keeps returning to you. It shows up in your stomach. It shows up in your sleep. It shows up in the way someone suddenly withdraws without reason. It shows up in the pauses, in the way they hesitate to greet you, in how quickly they end the call, in how vaguely they answer your questions. Something is off, and heaven wants you to stop pretending not to notice it. Someone is preparing to betray you, not because you harmed them, not because you failed them, but because your presence exposes their lack of growth. You didn't belittle them. You didn't outshine them. You just evolved. Quietly. Peacefully. Authentically. And now, that evolution is making someone uncomfortable. They can't say it outright, so they veil it in humor, in sarcasm, in subtle jabs. But Archangel Michael sees it clearly. He knows the signs before they surface. He deciphers the whispers before they reach your ears. He interprets the tone behind every joke. There is a conversation happening behind your back, one that rewrites your truth through someone else's wounded perspective. They are not telling the story accurately. They are filtering it through their assumptions. You said one thing. They heard another. You stepped back to protect your peace. They took it as offense. You let go of certain patterns. They called it pride. You stopped explaining. They called it arrogance. And now, in their mind, they feel justified to betray you. But their justification is built on fragments, on partial truths, distorted memories, and unspoken assumptions. They think they know you, but they are chasing an outdated version of your identity. They are not dealing with the real you. They are projecting their confusion onto your clarity. This betrayal didn't begin with a decision. It began with discomfort. The moment they noticed your spirit shift, they stopped seeing you as an ally and started seeing you as a mirror that reflected their delay, a mirror that reminded them of what they never finished, a mirror that revealed how you kept growing while they stayed stuck in cycles. And instead of being inspired, they became intimidated. Instead of blessing you, they began to envy you. Instead of asking for wisdom, they began spreading suspicion. That's how betrayal begins, not with hatred, but with discomfort that festers into resentment. But you must understand this. Your silence is not weakness. It's discernment. You have not responded because your soul recognized the energy before your mouth could catch up. You have not lashed out because the Holy Spirit anchored you in restraint. You are not blind. You are not foolish. You are guarded, not by paranoia but by prophecy. Archangel Michael stands behind you, watching what you cannot see, hearing what you are not meant to hear, and preparing you for what has not yet been revealed. This betrayal feels emotional, but it's more than that. It's spiritual. It's a test. It's a trigger point. And how you respond, or better yet, how you refuse to react, will determine whether this weapon will prosper or dissolve. They think you're unaware. They think their smiles are hiding their bitterness. But Michael already showed you. He put it in your dreams. He put it in your stomach. He put it in the scriptures you've been stumbling on all week. That verse about enemies. That message about silence. That phrase about letting God fight your battles. These were not coincidences. They were confirmations. The betrayal has already begun, but so has the protection. So has the interception. So has the divine reversal. But you must stay out of it emotionally and rise into it spiritually. Because what they planned will not land. What they whispered will not spread. What they plotted will not prosper. Because Archangel Michael has already intercepted the intent. Tap ASEIT before IT strikes to activate early discernment. Blessing code 4224 is now released. Let's set the record straight. This isn't personal. It may feel personal. It may sound personal. It may look like it's all about you. But in truth, it is deeply spiritual. This betrayal, this tension, this disruption in the atmosphere is a divine confirmation that you have crossed over into a higher frequency. You've stepped beyond what was comfortable. You've matured beyond emotional reactions. You've been growing in silence, healing in private, becoming who God always intended you to be. And the moment you aligned with your assignment, the shadows started reacting. Because spiritual advancement always provokes spiritual resistance. This is not about a text they didn't send. This is not about a conversation they started. This is not about who unfollowed you or who stopped calling. This is about what you carry. The oil on your life disturbs the demons in theirs. The clarity in your walk threatens the confusion in their spirit. You didn't ask for this disruption. You didn't provoke it. But your very presence shifted the balance in the room. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, to break cycles, to reveal light. And the moment you started walking in that light unapologetically, you activated every insecure spirit around you. Archangel Michael wants you to know, this betrayal is not a curse. It is a confirmation. The conflict you're facing is not about rejection. It's about recognition. Heaven has recognized your growth, and so has hell. And now both realms are reacting. One is surrounding you with protection. The other is attempting to shake your confidence. But do not be shaken. Do not flinch. Do not fold. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. There is a spotlight on your name in the spiritual realm. There is a divine alarm ringing every time you enter a new level. You don't move like others. You don't speak like others. You don't react like others. You are chosen, and the chosen don't get to live quietly. That's why the attacks are louder. That's why the whispers are stronger. That's why the betrayal feels deeper. Because you are carrying something holy, something weighty, something that demands resistance, just to confirm how powerful your assignment really is. Let them talk. Let them scheme. Let them misunderstand. What they do not know is that their betrayal is only adding fuel to the elevation God already planned for you. What they thought would break you will become the very stage where your power is revealed. Heaven does not waste warfare. Every conflict becomes a classroom. Every betrayal becomes a blessing. Every dart thrown your way becomes a platform for divine reversal. They can't stop you. Why? Because Archangel Michael isn't just standing behind you. He is warring on your behalf. Every insult they mutter, every misjudgment they entertain, every twisted assumption they weaponize, it's all being logged in heaven. It is all being reversed before it ever reaches your destiny. And the reason it's not working is because your assignment is already sealed. You were anointed before they had an opinion. You were chosen before they became offended. You were protected before the plot even formed. This is spiritual warfare, and you are not alone in it. Right now, Archangel Michael is standing with his sword drawn. He has seen these kinds of betrayals before, and he's reversed far greater attacks than this. But he needs you to understand your role in this moment. You are not a victim. You are not under attack because you did something wrong. You are under spiritual pressure because you are shifting timelines. You are interrupting generational patterns. You are awakening others just by being in the room. And the resistance is simply the enemy's last attempt to distract you from what's already unfolding in your favor. So don't take it personally. Take it spiritually. Don't react emotionally. Respond prophetically. Don't shrink back. Stand tall. Don't chase their understanding. Chase your alignment. Because you were never called to fit in. You were sent to break the mold. Type "This is spiritual, not personal" to declare your authority. Blessing code 5597 is active now. This is not just an emotional warning. This is a divine intelligence briefing. You are being alerted in the spirit because something in the natural is about to happen. You are not imagining the tension. You are not misreading the sudden shift. This is not your anxiety acting up. It is your discernment sharpening. There is a person, perhaps someone familiar, someone you've once trusted, someone you've extended grace to, who is now on the verge of acting out the betrayal that's been growing quietly in their heart. They are about to move. They are about to speak. They are about to expose something or twist something, and heaven will not allow it to catch you unaware. Archangel Michael is sounding the alarm right now because time is moving quickly. There's a 3-hour window opening soon, and what you do or do not do during that time will determine whether this betrayal lands or gets blocked before it takes root. The person in question is already restless. They're tapping to you, but you. They are wrestling with whether to send the message, whether to pick up the phone, whether to post that harmless comment meant to humiliate you indirectly, whether to manipulate a conversation to make you look unstable, unreliable, or undeserving. They are not acting out of courage. They are acting out of offense. But offense is a gateway, and if left unchecked, offense becomes a vehicle for destruction. That's why you must be still, but not silent in the spirit. You must be calm, but not passive in prayer. You must not defend yourself, but you must guard your gate. They are about to come forward under the influence of emotional distortion. They believe what they're doing is necessary. They believe they are uncovering your true colors. They believe this is some kind of justice. But they don't understand that they are being used. Used by a force that is not interested in truth, but in chaos. Used by bitterness. Used by a spirit of confusion. Used by old wounds that were never healed, just hidden. And now, they're trying to drag you into that pain, hoping you'll react in a way that justifies their betrayal. But don't react. Don't respond. Don't lower your frequency to match their drama. Instead, remember this. Archangel Michael only warns those who are anointed to win. You wouldn't be hearing this message if you weren't already standing in divine protection. This warning is your weapon. This message is your map. This insight is your insulation. So use it wisely. Because the betrayal is not just emotional, it's strategic. They want to provoke you into exposing yourself. They want to push you into panic mode. They want to make you feel alone, unsupported, misunderstood, isolated. That is their goal, but heaven has a different plan. Let me be clear, you are surrounded. Angels are stationed around your heart. Archangel Michael is positioned at the entry points of your life, watching the messages, monitoring the movement, decoding every false intention before it arrives at your door. And yet, you must still remain vigilant. Don't be baited. Don't be drawn in. Don't defend what heaven has already cleared. You will feel the temptation, the urge to send a long text, the pressure to explain yourself, the impulse to call someone and clear things up. But Michael says, no, this is not your battle. This is not your courtroom. This is not your platform to prove your innocence. Heaven has already judged the situation, and the ruling is in your favor. You are not on trial. The enemy is. Watch what unfolds within the next 3 to 7 hours. There will be signs, perhaps a strange message, a sudden call, a distant look, or an unexpected cancellation. Something will shift. Don't panic. Just know, it was meant to be worse. But your alignment softened the blow. What could have broken you will only brush against you and bounce off. Because Archangel Michael has built a shield, and that shield is powered by your obedience and awareness. So listen. Stay aware. Do not confront. Do not explain. Do not try to convince them of who you are. Let them believe what they want, because their actions today will expose their character, not yours. Type I will not be moved to anchor your energy. Blessing code 7771 is now active. Right now, you're standing at a spiritual crossroads. One path leads to reaction, to defending your name, retaliating in anger, justifying your choices, over-explaining your silence. The other leads to alignment, with peace, with divine instruction, with angelic strategy. One will feel satisfying to the flesh, the other empowering to the soul. One will drain you, the other will shield you. This is your reminder. You don't need to respond to what heaven has already overruled. You are not required to correct every lie. You are not obligated to chase clarity in places God has removed you from. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your elevation. Your stillness is not weakness. It is warfare. Archangel Michael is not just protecting your surroundings. He is protecting your energy field. The enemy's greatest strategy in this moment is not to destroy you physically, but to dislodge you emotionally, to take you out of your spiritual posture, to make you react. Because if you react, you give access. If you panic, you lower your frequency. If you chase the betrayal, you get caught in the emotional quicksand, and that is where delay lives. That is where confusion multiplies. That is where your discernment becomes clouded. And heaven says, not this time. Instead, stay still. Stay grounded. Let your silence echo louder than any accusation. You are not being passive. You are being prophetic. You are not ignoring the betrayal. You are refusing to validate it with your energy. You are not running. You are rising. And in this rising, you must move differently. You must choose your peace over your pride. You must decide to protect your inner sanctuary more than your public image. Because the betrayal isn't even about your name. It's about the weight of your purpose. And that purpose is too big to be pulled down by a misunderstanding. You don't have time to clarify your greatness to small minds. You don't have to convince the blind to see what God already revealed to you in secret. Heaven says, let it unfold. Let the mask slip. Let the truth reveal itself in time. But you, stay still. Do not message them first. Do not drop hints. do not prove your worthiness. Your obedience is building an invisible wall between their weapon and your heart. The sword was lifted, but the strike will fail. Why? Because Archangel Michael has intercepted the motion before it reaches your destiny. But he needs you to participate in the reversal, not with words, not with defense, but with trust. This is the time to lean into protection, not panic. Pray in silence. Walk in confidence. Anoint your space. Bless your enemies. Attach emotionally. Because when you don't take it personally, they lose their power. When you don't respond, you don't extend the invitation. When you stay silent, you let heaven speak louder. And trust me, heaven is speaking. God is exposing the intent behind the person's actions. He is turning private conversations into public revelations. What they tried to twist behind your back will come back to confront them without your participation. What they tried to scatter in secret will fall apart in front of them. Not because you fought to, but because you did. They will question why it didn't work. They will wonder why their smear campaign backfired. They will be stunned when your name is honored anyway. And it's all because you followed divine instruction. Archangel Michael's sword is not symbolic. It is spiritual law. And that sword is swinging in your favor right now. It is cutting through confusion, severing ungodly ties, guarding your path. But the key to unlocking this protection is not through action, it's through alignment. So breathe, bless them, and rise higher. What's coming next will silence every voice that doubted you. Type "My stillness is my sword" if you receive this message. Blessing code 8844 is now sealed over your name. There is a moment in every spiritual battle where something shifts, not in the heavens first, but within you. That moment is here. The betrayal may have been designed to shake you, but what it's actually doing is activating you. This was not sent to stop you. It was sent to remind you who you are. You are not the fragile version of yourself they once had access to. You are not the person who used to doubt their worth because someone withheld approval. You are not the one who used to shrink just to keep the peace. You've changed. You've evolved. You've awakened. And now, the betrayal is about to meet the version of you that it cannot intimidate. The version that's rooted. The version that's spiritually aware. The version that walks with angelic backing. The version that knows they are chosen. Archangel Michael is not just protecting you from others. He is protecting you from your own old patterns. The pattern of over-explaining. The pattern of people bleeding. The pattern of internalizing every misjudgment as if it was truth. No more. That version of you no longer exists. They betrayed the memory of someone you've outgrown. And now, they are about to discover they can no longer trigger what they used to control. There's something powerful about not reacting, not because you're scared, but because you're centered. There's something divine about not needing revenge, because you already see the lesson. There's something unstoppable about rising anyway, because the betrayal only proved the elevation was real. You are becoming untouchable, not by hiding but by transforming. The storm came, and you didn't break. The whispers spread, and you didn't bend. Applause unfolded, and you didn't flinch. And now, the atmosphere is adjusting to your power. Heaven is reintroducing you, not as the one who needs defending, but as the one who is already divinely endorsed. That's why the betrayal hurts, because it had to happen before the revelation of your new form. You're something about pain that always precedes purpose. You're something about being misunderstood that always unlocks mastery. And now, you are being launched, not by applause but by resistance. Let them watch. Let them whisper. Because the person they thought they could control has become a storm they cannot stand in. They didn't expect your silence to be this powerful. They didn't expect your stillness to carry this much weight. They didn't expect Archangel Michael to cover you with this kind of clarity. But now they know. Now they feel it. Now they're starting to realize the betrayal failed. And you are walking in unshakable purpose. You are vibrating at a frequency that their weapons can't reach. You are entering a season where only what's aligned with destiny can stay. The elevation has begun, and it's irreversible. You've already shifted timelines. You've already broken cycles. You've already passed the test. And the only thing left now is for the divine reward to arrive. You will not have to wait long. Those who doubted you will witness your divine upgrade, and it will be clear to everyone that it was not man who promoted you, it was heaven. Archangel Michael is clearing the space in front of you. The betrayal cleared the room. Now the blessing can enter. Now the tables will turn. Now the oil on your life will be publicly poured. So take your power back, not through force, but through stillness with intention. Let the betrayal become your unveiling. Let the pain become your prophecy. Let this moment become your rise. Type I rise because I've been chosen if you feel this word. Blessing code 9933 is now unlocking the path forward. You may not feel it fully yet, but the reversal has already begun. The shift is subtle but undeniable. Heaven has made a decision concerning you. And this betrayal, that once felt like it would bury you, is now becoming the very moment that births your next level. Yes, they twisted your name. Yes, they tried to use your kindness as ammunition. But what they didn't know was that the divine saw it all, and Archangel Michael recorded every detail. This wasn't just emotional betrayal. This was an unauthorized attempt to delay your destiny. But the plan has failed. Not because they stopped, but because God stepped in. You see, heaven doesn't need public spectacle to execute justice. Sometimes it moves in whispers. Sometimes it moves in private shifts, in closed doors that suddenly creak open, in gut feelings that get lighter after weeks of wait. And that's what's coming for you, a series of quiet but undeniable breakthroughs that will leave you stunned. Peace is going to find you again. But this time, it will not be fragile. This time, it will be rooted in what you've conquered. The fog will lift. That knot in your chest, it will untie itself. That mental heaviness, it will dissolve. You will feel it in the silence, in the stillness of your room, in the moments when you expect the chaos to return and it doesn't. You will know that heaven has drawn a line in the sand and said, "No more. Not this one. Not again." The person who tried to distort your image, they will face their own mirror. And it won't be your job to expose them. You won't have to utter a word. Heaven will place conviction in their spirit in the quiet hours when no one is watching. They'll remember what they said. They'll feel the tension in their own heart. And whether they speak or stay silent, they will never again have the power to disturb your spirit. And there's more. There's a door, one that you assumed was closed forever. But that door is swinging open again. Not because of effort, not because of networking, but because heaven has declared that this is your appointed time. You will walk through it not as the broken one, not as the betrayed one, but as the anointed one. You will carry authority. You will carry favor. And this time, no one will be able to say it wasn't earned. They'll see the oil on your life and understand that betrayal couldn't block what God has already blessed. This wasn't just a lesson in pain. It was a lesson in restraint. And you passed. You didn't fight dirty. You didn't try to match their energy. You stayed in alignment, and that alignment became your weapon. Your tears became intercession. Your silence became a signal to the angels and Archangel Michael. He moved the moment you stopped trying to fix it with your own strength. He went before you. He shattered the schemes. And now he's ushering you into a season where no shadow can reach you. Let that sink in. This was the last betrayal at this level. You won't have to fight this kind of battle again. Because what was meant to trap you had been turned into a testimony. What was meant to harm you has become holy ground. You are no longer the same. And because of that, you can no longer be attacked in the same way. The old tactics won't work on you anymore. The old triggers don't reach you. The old access points have been sealed by fire and favor. This is your divine transformation. This is your sacred reset. This is your prophetic unveiling. You're not just bouncing back. You're rising higher than you've ever been. And the irony. It took betrayal to break the shell that kept you small. They thought they were ending something, but they were helping heaven unveil your true form. So rest now. Not because everything's perfect, but because you're finally aligned. Let your soul breathe. Let your spirit stretch. You've been planted in pain, but you're about to bloom in power. Type "This is my turning point" if your spirit knows this was for you. Blessing code 1144 is now covering your path, your peace, and your purpose. This isn't just a message. It's not a comforting word to make you feel better for a few minutes. This is a spiritual transaction. Something has been deposited into your atmosphere. But what you do in this very moment will determine whether it sits dormant or manifests fully. Heaven has sent its warning. Archangel Michael has spoken. The betrayal was exposed. The reversal has begun. But now, it's your turn. Not to prove yourself. Not to chase those who misunderstood you. Not to replay every conversation in your mind trying to figure out what went wrong. No, that part is over. That was the test. And you passed it. Now, you're being asked to respond not with emotion, but with alignment. This is where many people miss the miracle. They hear the word, they feel the confirmation, but they hesitate to activate it. They remain passive when heaven is calling them to step forward in authority. They keep the affirmation in their heart but never declare it aloud. And so, the breakthrough waits. The shift stalls. Not because it wasn't real, but because it wasn't clean. What not you? Not this time. Right now, you are being called into spiritual action. And this isn't just about typing a comment. It's not about engagement. It's about agreement. There is power in response. There is spiritual weight in declaration. The moment you respond, with faith, with alignment, with intention, you signal heaven that you are ready. Ready for the reversal. Ready for the justice. Ready for the restoration that's already hovering above your atmosphere. You've listened. You wept. You discerned. But now, you must speak. Now you must move. Because faith without motion is just a concept. But faith in motion becomes a magnet for miracles. That's what Archangel Michael is watching for. Not just who heard the warning, but who responded to the call. Declare with boldness, I receive the reversal. Say it aloud. Whisper it under your breath. Type it into this atmosphere. Whatever you do, just don't stay silent. Silence is safe, but this isn't a season for safety. This is a season for spiritual authority. You've been quiet long enough. You've let people assume what they wanted. You've let others write narratives about you that weren't rooted in truth. And heaven said, "Enough. Now you speak. Not to them, but to your destiny. Not to the betrayer, but to your own spirit. Not in defense, but in prophetic command. Say it now. Not tomorrow. Not when it feels easier. Now. Because your words are keys. Your declarations are doors. Every time you speak what heaven has already confirmed, the energy shifts. The atmosphere adjusts. The angels respond. Not because you begged, but because you agreed. This is your moment to align with the divine timing of God. You didn't stumble onto this message by chance. You didn't hear this by accident. You've been asking for confirmation. You've been pleading for a sign. You've been waiting for something to give. Well, this is it. And how you respond now determines how fast the next phase will unfold. Don't let fear rob you of your inheritance. Don't let silence delay your shift. Don't let overthinking mute your breakthrough. Archangel Michael is watching. The host of heaven is waiting. And the reversal is available, but it responds to faith. It responds to boldness. It responds to a heart that says, "God, I believe you, even when I'm bruised, even when I've been betrayed, even when I don't see the full picture, I believe what you've spoken." That's where the power is. In believing anyway, in moving anyway, in declaring anyway. So go ahead. Say it now. Let the atmosphere hear you. Let the heavens record your voice. Let the betrayal be reversed, the damage undone, the story rewritten not later, but now. Type "I receive the reversal" in the comments to seal this word. Speak it. Mean it. Own it. Blessing code 1441 is now releasing divine completion into your timeline. Take a breath. In and out. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel the tension leaving your jaw. Feel the shift happening within you. That's not just relief. That's confirmation. What you feel right now is not just emotional release. It's spiritual realignment. The betrayal that tried to break you has lost its grip. The pain that tried to stay hidden has now been transformed into power. And you are not the same person who started this message. You're standing taller now. Not in arrogance, not in ego, but in quiet, unshakable knowing. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't need approval. The kind that knows, without a doubt, that if heaven be for you, no betrayal, no slander, no twisted story can ever stand against you. You've been through the fire. What you didn't burn. You walked through the valley. What you didn't crumble. You were hit by words that were meant to shatter your confidence, but all they did was refine your focus. The enemy wanted you broken, bitter, silenced. But instead you're rising louder, purer, clearer. That's not survival. That's resurrection. That's not damage control. That's divine dominance. Archangel Michael did not just fight for you. He testified on your behalf. He entered the space you could not see. He blocked conversations that were never meant to reach you. He rerouted schemes that would have pulled you into chaos. And now, he stands behind you still, not because you're fragile, but because you are favored. And favor doesn't remove you from the fire. It just ensures you walk through it without being consumed. Let this be known. You are not what they said about you. You are not the version they invented in their offense. You are not the assumptions they crafted to make themselves feel better. You are who God says you are, and He never changed His mind about you. Not once. The betrayal was loud, but your peace is louder. The gossip was vicious, but your elevation is undeniable. The silence they gave you was cold. But the silence you're walking in now, it's holy, it's powerful, it's divine. This is your confirmation that the season has shifted, not because you forced it, not because you manipulated it, but because you surrendered, you obeyed, you trusted. You let God fight the battle in the background while you stayed grounded in your truth. And now, the reward is inevitable. They may never come back and apologize, and that's okay. The peace you now carry is worth more than their confession. The clarity you walk in now is better than any closure they could offer. You've outgrown the pain. You've evolved past the need for revenge. And that is how you know you won. So let them whisper. Let them spin their stories. Let them watch. Because your life will speak louder than their version of events ever could. You are not the broken one. You are not the betrayed one. You are the revealed one. The chosen one. The unstoppable one. And from this day forward, you walk differently. Not bitter but better. Not guarded in fear, but covered in discernment. Not waiting for attacks, but moving in power. Heaven has reintroduced you. And this time, no one can unsee your light. So take this final moment and settle it in your spirit. You are not a victim of betrayal. You are the revelation birthed by it. You are the fulfillment of the verse that says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." You are living proof that divine reversal is real, that angelic protection is active, that what was meant to break you will always bow before the God who made you. Let your next steps be quiet. Let your energy remain clean. Let your presence remain untouchable. Because you don't have to announce your elevation. Your fruit will speak for itself. Type "I am the revelation" in the comments if you feel this closing word in your bones. Blessing code 0000, divine completion, is now fully released over your name, your path, your peace, and your promise.